Happy WIP Wednesday! Hi everybody, my name is Donna and this is Donna Loves Yarn, and today is WIP Wednesday. It is Wednesday, February 28th, 2024, and I welcome you to my channel. For those of you that are new, this channel is really all about crochet and yarn. Sometimes I throw in life updates and things about my rabbit or my dog or just stuff in general, but for the most part this is about my love of yarn and my love of crochet and just my journey in learning more and more about the craft, about what I like, stuff like that, acquisitions, because we all love the yarn acquisitions, right? Well, maybe not all. I met a lady at last week's group. She's not a yarn collector like so many of us are. So anyway, if you saw my video I posted last night, just a short little 10-minute video about a project that I'm working on, I mentioned that I would be doing a WIP Wednesday video today. So here I am, and I've only got two WIPs to show you, so this won't be a very long video. Anyway, welcome everybody, new and old subscribers. I have been getting quite a few new ones lately, but not a whole lot of views. So if any of you have any suggestions, what I might add to my content to draw in more people or help people stay longer so that I can get watch hours. I know that there's a hashtag movement going on right now in an effort to support us new creators, and I will share that hashtag in the description. I can't think of the person that started it. I can't think of her name. But anyway, you know, we need to help each other out. And I've subscribed to a whole bunch of new people. Doesn't mean I necessarily have to watch their stuff, but I'm trying to increase their subscriber count, so to get them closer to that 1,000 subscriber mark to start getting monetized. So I have a ways to go. So, but that's okay. If I don't get there, I don't get there, but I'd like to get there. So let's move on with this week's WIPs. Like I said, I only have two. One of them is the third of the same pattern that I've done. And I've shared the one that I finished, and I shared last week the one that I think I shared last week the one that I was working on. Maybe not, because I only worked on it for like 3 days. Anyway, this is going to be for my sister. She's the baby of the family, and she's the last one turning 60 April. She'll be 60 in April. So we're all gathering in May to celebrate her 60th birthday. So I made this for her, and this is the South Bay Shawl. I love this shawl. She's a huge Chiefs fan. And this was, when I looked at this yarn, I thought, that's got Chiefs vibes to it. The only trouble is, this part that looks red, it's not really red. It's really not red. In some lights it looks like a really dark pink. In this light it looks red. but it'll pass for red, even if it's not red. It'll pass, and I think she'll love it. I think she will absolutely love it. So I will wear it in her honor for this video. I love this shawl. South Bay Shawl. From what I understand, it's a free pattern on Lion Brand's website. I followed the tutorial by Helene at Cabin Fever Crochet. She does a great tutorial. She also gives you 4 options, I think 4 options for a border. So it works up really fast. You can make a shawlette, or you can make full-size shawl like this one. The one I made before this was even bigger than this one. I used almost the whole cake of a Stenley yarn, and it turned out huge. Absolutely huge. So this one that I started last night, I kind of went into the story on last night's video, but I'll tell you again in case you didn't watch that. One of my cousins passed away about a year ago, and I've gotten pretty close with his widow. And I wanted to do something special for her, so I told her I wanted to make her a shawl, asked her what her favorite colors were. So she said she likes blue because my cousin had blue eyes, and she loved his blue eyes. So I started a shawl using a cotton yarn, and I stuck it away somewhere. So last night I went looking for it because I thought I'm either going to finish it, or I'm going to start it over making this, because this is super fast. Well, in my search for that shawl, which I never found, I came upon this yarn, which was attached to another project. This, I believe, is a Noro yarn. I'm gonna have to go back through some of my older videos because I know this was in a yarn haul. I believe I might have gotten this from Crystal in one of her mystery boxes. So I need to go back and see what the fiber content is, if this is just 100% wool or if it's wool and silk. I think it's wool and silk. I believe so. It feels like it. So I thought I'm gonna make a shawl out of that. And then I thought, I don't remember if I'd already started it or whether I thought at the beginning, I want to combine it with one of my Malabrigo Silky Merino hanks. So I picked that one. These were meant to be together. I mean, they're beautiful. And let me show you how it's working up in the shawl. It's so pretty. I hope the lighting does it justice. So every 3 repeats, I'm throwing in a repeat of the Malabrigo. This is just gorgeous. And I'm not a big blue fan, but this just, oh, she will love this. It's beautiful. And this pattern, all it is shells. Got a shell row, and then you have a V-stitch row where you put the shells in. It's that simple. And then the final border that I went with is a 9-stitch shell. In every you end with a V-stitch row, so you do 9-stitch shells in each V-stitch for the border, and it turns out. That's what I did for this one. I said last night that it gave it a point. It doesn't really give it a point, but it definitely gives it a defined apex there, because that's 3 double treble crochets in the center of that shell. So it's beautiful. So I'll be finishing this probably tonight because I don't have very much of this left. And this is my only bit of this. So when this runs out, this will be done. So if it's just a shawlette, that's fine. She's tiny anyway. She's so skinny. Like skin and bone. And I don't know. I'm only doing one repeat of this, so I'll probably run out of them at the same time. But this won't have very far to go at all. This was 100 grams to start with. So I'll probably finish that today. The second WIP I'm working on is kind of a collaboration I have with another creator, and her channel is called Crochet with Vicky Jo, or Vicky Jo Crochet, or something like that. Sorry, Vicky, if I didn't get that right. Anyway, we're doing the Inlines Alpaca poncho from Hobie. It's a paid pattern. I've already pretty much completed one, working on a second, but when I started my second one, even my first one, I used a heavier yarn. It calls for the Alpaca, is it called Alpaca Wheels from Hobie? Well, it's the same thing as the Hobie, or sorry, it's the same thing as the Alpaca blend that you can get from Yarn Art. I got mine, let me see if I can see them up there on that shelf right there. I got mine from Hirschner's when Hirschner's had their mill ends and they had the Alpaca blend mill ends. That's where I got mine. So you don't have to get it from Hobie. It's cheaper from Yarn Art. Actually, it's less than $20 from Yarn Art. And I've thought about getting more, but I don't know if I will. Anyway, I love roving yarns. So I started a second one using Scarfy yarn. Well, I didn't think about the difference in yarn weights when I started it. So I went ahead and made a chain of 108, which is what the pattern recommends. Well, it's going to be too big. I've already done part of the cowl on mine, and it's going to be really big. So on this next one that I'm starting with Vicky Jo, I thought I need to reduce the number of chains. So I took mine and I chained 108 and I measured it, and it was 24 inches. So I chained this yarn that I'm doing with Vicky, and I chained till it was 24 inches. Excuse me. Well, it ended up being 84, I believe. So I stopped at 84. And what I like to do, especially if the first row is a simple row of whether it's double crochet or single crochet, I'll wait and do that first row, and then I'll join the circle. Instead of joining it with the chain, I'll wait and do the first row, because I can't tell you how many times I've joined the first chain and it ends up twisted. I know how they say to follow it and how to join it, and I've done that before and it's worked, but there have been too many times that I've joined it and it was twisted. So it's easier for me if I do that first row, if it's a simple row, and then I'll join it after that, which is what I did. So I did the double crochet row and then I measured again. Well, of course it's longer because it's stretched out. So I went back and I ripped out probably, I don't know, another 10, maybe 20 stitches from that chain. Then it was the right length. So I did that and I thought, okay, that should be easy. Well, what I didn't think about was you've got the front and the back points, right? It says in the pattern how many groups of front post, back post stitches to have between each point. Well, I'm not a math whiz by any stretch. So I had to figure out, okay, it's not 26 groups now, it's less than that. How do I figure out? Because it wasn't as simple as cutting the chain count in half. It wasn't that simple. Because I tried to reverse engineer the math and it wasn't coming out for me. So I just thought, okay, I'm just going to eyeball it and see where the middle is. So that's what I did. Well, that wasn't sufficient. Mainly because when you get to the point, you have 2 double crochets, 2 chains, 2 double crochets. So that kind of offsets the center by the time you put those in there. And you'll see here in a second, because I just noticed it today when I was looking at it, because I've altered it as I've been going instead of ripping it back. So Vicki and I are using the Lion Brand Divigation. I love this yarn. Even though it's synthetic, I have a soft spot for roving yarn. I just think it looks so pretty. Especially depending on the fiber content, which this is 100% acrylic, it's got a shine to it. So when it just gives really good stitch definition. And if it has a shine to it, that shine just really pops out, because the stitches are so defined. So here's what I have so far. I went ahead and decided to start it because Vicki is a little nervous about starting it. So I thought I'm going to go ahead and start it. So if I run into any problems, I can fix them and let her know. She actually had considered going ahead and doing the 108 stitch chain and then doing decreases for the cowl. I said, if you want to do that, that's fine. If you're comfortable enough doing the decreases, that's fine. But I'd rather start off with this, the length that needs to be 24 inches rather than trying to decrease later. So here's what I've got so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm on the 5th row. And I just looked at this today. And I'm seeing that because I was off a stitch, I had one too many stitches. So I had to modify it while I was doing it. So I don't know if you can tell here, but my center, which is supposed to be here, well, it's supposed to be here, actually. It's supposed to be here. So because I changed, it's going sideways. I mean, these are going to be joined, but obviously it's going sideways. So I don't know if I want to rip it and start over, or whether it's going to be because this is going to be, I don't think it's going to go diagonal all the way down. In other words, I think it'll end up fixing itself. I hope. So Vicki, if you're watching, you might want to go ahead and go with your original idea, unless you can do the math and you can get it better than me. Because you're supposed to start and end each round with a front post double. The last round I did before this one, I ended with a back post. So I thought I got to fix that. So I ended up front posting 2 posts so that I ended correctly. And so now my stitch count on both sides is correct. I had the same amount of posts combos on both sides. So it's correct. So, I'll go ahead and do a few more rows when she's ready to get started. I'll do a few more rows. If it's still going sideways, then I'll frog it back and I'll start over and figure out how to do it correctly. I don't know what else to do. other than doing the 108 and then doing decreases. But you're talking 20 to 30 decrease stitches to figure in. And I'm not good enough at math to figure out how to evenly decrease by that many stitches and make it look nice without it going from here to, you know, I don't know how to do that. So we'll see how it goes. I'll do another 5 rows or so when she's ready and see how it looks. And if I have to start over, I'll start over. It's okay. I don't mind. I've only got 4 balls of this. Vicky has 5. I've only got 4. Hopefully 4 is enough. If not, I'll get more. But I love this pattern. And if you guys want to join us, there's a link in my community tab to the pattern if you want to join us in making this poncho. Stina at My World of Crochet, she's making it. She is already on her second cake of yarn. She finished her cowl. She tried it on her last live, and it looks wonderful. It fits her perfectly. Whereas mine's huge. And I think it might be too late because I went ahead and started the cowl just to see what it would look like. I don't remember how many rows I did of it, but I think it's too late to do any decreases in it. So I don't know. I may frog it back. I think I've done 10 rows of it. Where is it? I don't know where it is. I do this every time. Look for projects. I don't know where it is. So anyway, that's my 2 WIPs for WIP Wednesday. I love this yarn. Of all synthetic yarns, this is probably my favorite. This and the Unforgettable, because it's thinner than the Landscapes. I love Landscapes too, but Landscapes, Unforgettable, and this are my favorite synthetic yarns because they're roving. I love roving. I have from the very beginning. And this is roving. And so is that. Those are all single ply roving yarns. Here's another one. I love roving yarn. So let's see, did I share? I don't know. I think I shared that yarn already. I had an acquisition last week, but I think I showed you guys. So anyway, that is what I have. By the way, I'm using a 6.5 hook with this. And I'm using a 6 hook with the shawl. The Malabrigo Silky Merino is considered a DK weight, and the Noro looks to be about the same. So I'm using a 6 hook on that. It's nice and drapey. I don't know if I'll block it. I'll see how far I get and see what it looks like. I may not block it. We'll see. But that's what I have for now. And I don't think anything else is going on that's important enough to share. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. We had snow last night. Just a dusting. It's already pretty much where the sun hits, it's already melted off. But it got pretty cold last night. We had what I thought was hail, teeny tiny little ice balls, teeny tiny. And when they were coming down, there was nothing else coming down with them. No rain, no snow. So it almost seemed like hail to me, especially the velocity in which it was coming down because it was hitting the windows. And I thought it was hail. Well, my son came up and I showed him and he said, that's not hail. you'd be having a storm if there was hail. Well, there was a storm not that far from here that was getting thunder snow over on the Kansas side. And one of my friends on Facebook, she posted that she had hail. And she's just north of me where I used to live. So it might have been hail. Either that or it was grapple, one or the other. But normally, if it's grapple, you usually have something else coming down with it, whether it be sleet or rain or snow. Something else typically is coming down with it. And it's coming down, usually grapple comes down a little heavier. This came down more like hail, like I said. So anyway, that's all that's going on. Thank you for joining me for today's WIP Wednesday. Hopefully I will show this on Friday as a FO Friday. I'll probably finish this today. It's such a pleasure to work on. And it's mindless, so mindless. Even the beginning and the end is so mindless. So I will share her link again in the description. And thank you again, Helene, for showing that tutorial, because it's great. I love that pattern. Can't say it enough. So thank you all for joining me. If you stayed this long, thank you very, very much. I think that's all I have. Have a great rest of your week. And if you're watching this another time, just have a great day. And remember, sorry, I'm having a bit of reflux right now. Remember, God loves you, Jesus loves you, and I love you. Take care. Have a great rest of your day or evening. And just be kind to each other. And happy crocheting, knitting, or whatever yarn art you're into. Have a great time doing it. And don't feel bad about it. Don't feel guilty about it. I don't. But take the time to do it. Because you need to. So we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.